Hello, it's day five and it's team number five. I've been trying to wear team colors, so today it's yellow love. It's Chennai Super Kings for all of you. Live team analysis for the IPL 2020 squad. Um, as always, I am not just joined by a cricket analyst expert. I'm also joined with somebody who's a fan of that particular team. Today, I have with me Nithin. Nithin is the founder and the admin of the CSK Army page on Instagram that has more than I think as I remember more than 70,000 followers who are just constantly remembering their love for Chennai Super Kings, relating to the content that is regularly put out by Nithin. So it's an absolute privilege to have you today, Nithin. How are you?
Hello, brother. Thank you for having me here, and it's a pleasure to be here.
Of course, of course. So there's a lot to talk about when we think about Chennai Super Kings, and there's actually so many things, so many discussions that keep going around. Some of which I have learnt about from your page itself. But if I have to start with one major thing, or I'll just throw it to you, what is the one major talking point for you from this option for Chennai Super Kings?
Of course, it should be Suresh Raina.
Exactly, exactly. So anybody who follows Chennai Super Kings, anybody who follows IPL knows it's a shocker that Suresh Raina will not be playing this IPL, and that's exactly how we'll start. He's known as Mr. IPL. He's known as the most consistent, one of the most consistent IPL batsmen. He scored more than 400 runs so many times in seasons. What was your initial reaction to Raina being unsold, and what could have been the reason behind it?
First, I didn't expect this. I thought CSK will be going for him at least once in the prize, but they didn't even try him. That was the shocking point. Not only CSK, any other team. He has cricket in him for at least 2 more years, for sure.
Yeah.
Uh, that's a shocking point for me. I was not expecting him to be in CSK alone. At least IPL team for him. But it
Yeah.
didn't happen. Okay, it's happened because you should not see a emotional connect alone. It should be his performance also. The last 2 years it's been tough for him. So
Reasonably, yeah, if you think about performances, he did not make it, but um, the same argument could be put out for a lot of batsmen. Somebody like a Robin Uthappa, he did well in two
yeah,
matches
in the
last
playoffs.
season. He was good in the knockout stages. Other than that, the last 2 years, he also hasn't been consistent in the IPL. Some of those things make you think कि शायद Suresh Raina should be in the squad, but
Yeah.
it is what it is now. What was your original reaction as a fan watching Suresh Raina go unsold and seeing that he's not even in the list of players that's being brought back?
I'll be honest. In the first set, I was okay. I was upset. I've been posting a lot in the Instagram also. I thought in the unsold list he'll be there and some team will be picking him. But once when the list was out and the 63 or 69 members list, his name was not there. At the
Yeah,
time, literally, I had tears in my eyes because I was following him since 2011. So, like, he's been an ideal for me. Like how MS Dhoni is, like he's been an ideal for me. Of course, it hurts, but we should be seeing the management's like way of taking players and also performance-wise. Okay, it's fine. Hope he comes in the next year.
yeah, we can just do that. We hope Suresh Raina makes a grand comeback. That is
We
not
have
just good
domestic
to see.
also, side Mr. Kali trophies and let him play.
Yeah, I hope he makes a comeback. That's not just good to see for CSK fans, but for all Indian fans. We'll all enjoy seeing Chinnathala back in the stadium. Moving forward to the actual CSK auction, initial reactions to your strategy that CSK had in the auction. Not very different from every time they tried to go back for almost all of the players that
Same
they've had.
players.
Yeah, so they missed out on a couple. They didn't get Duplessis, they didn't get Shardul, but overall, how do you feel the team fares up now?
Um, of course, for every fans, it'd be like they have not done well. They would think to start, but once a team is built, we know how they will be performing under we have a captain called MS Dhoni, and
Yeah.
so whatever players they get, they'll be utilizing them the most. As of I know, comparing to the 10 IPL teams. So it was well and good. The FAF part was somewhat a bit thing, but others everything was totally strategical and it was fine.
Agreed, agreed. And if you think about the two players that Chennai wasn't able to get, one is two main players, I would say. One is Fab du Plessis, who was a regular in the squad. One is Shardul Thakur. Which of these two do you think CSK fans and the CSK management would miss more?
It should be Faf du Plessis because he's been playing under MS Dhoni since the start of he started the career.
Yeah,
Like, it's almost connect also. And at the age of 37, he's not playing in the he's for his nation also, but he performed. He was the second highest scorer in the last IPL also.
exactly.
It's a bit hard, but he deserved some a bit around 8 crores or 9 crores. CSK could have gone for him, but fine, 7 is fine, and hope he goes well.
Yeah, I mean, we hope for him as a player as well. It's not that he's not in CSK, so we don't want him to perform. We always want to see these players do well.
They
But
perform.
the void that is created by Fab du Plessis, if you have to talk about that,
Yeah.
Ruturaj Gaikwad and Fab du Plessis formed a great opening partnership. Now that du Plessis is in there, it's most likely. What do you feel would open with Rutu? Would it be
Uh,
Devin Conway?
I've not seen Conway playing. Devon Conway playing a lot.
Okay.
I've seen them in one game New Zealand versus England in the semi-finals of T20
Mm-hmm.
World Cup. Uh, I can't say he's a perfect replacement for Faf du Plessis, but
Of course.
okay, the players they had and they've chosen. And also Robin Uthappa can be like Rajasthan Royals tried in him, Robin Uthappa in
Yeah.
2019 or 20, I guess. He did decently in some matches. Let's hope it should be Robin Uthappa and Conway, and don't be surprised if it is Raidu again.
Oh
So
yeah, that's
yeah,
also possible.
that was
So you just pick if you were the CSK team management, who do you pick to open with Ruturaj?
I will pick Conway directly. Starting 11 it should
You-
be Conway and Rutraj Gaikwad to open.
Okay, you will pick Devin Conway and Ruturaj
Because
Gaikwad.
Raidu his his play against off spinners are like separate thing.
Exactly.
So
And as we talk about all of these things, we'll try to build your playing 11 alongside. So we have our openers for now. It's Conway and Ruturaj Gaikwad. Moving forward again to the Chennai Super Kings auction, the middle order, I don't see a lot of changes there. If you think about players like Uttapa, he could still be a one down batsman. There's still Moeen Ali, there's still Ambati Raidu, there's still MS Dhoni. So there's not a lot of changes there. Jadeja is also there with us. Your middle order, I mean, it's not very tough thinking about last season, but how would you back them? In what order do you back them?
number 3 should be Moeen Ali without any doubt. And
Okay,
the fourth part alone, like it should be Shivam Dubey or Raidu or Robin
interesting.
Uthappa. The three are there, but
Okay,
more likely it should be Shivam Dubey or Raidu, I would say. And
okay,
the next, again it changes. If Robin Uthappa plays, then Raidu will be playing at number 5 again, and it will Dubey or Robin Uthappa at number 4. So
okay.
after that it should be Mahendra Singh Dhoni, of course. Then Ravindra Jadeja, and we have Bravo. So that that part is like almost same. We have an option called Shivam Dubey. That's it. Nothing new in it.
Exactly. And now the that's the most interesting aspect and the most dynamic aspect about Chennai Super Kings. Right now, Nithin and I have only discussed up to their middle order, lower middle order. And if you think about it, there's Moin Ali, Shivam Dubey, Ravindra Jadeja, and Dwayne Bravo who could all bowl four overs each
Yeah.
on their day. So right now we're not into the bowlers as well, and they have all of these players ready to ready to give you four overs on any given day. So that dynamism that Chennai Super Kings has, what is your take on it?
They have been doing this since 2021, I guess. They had
Yeah,
11 players who can bat, and
exactly.
now again they are taking the players who are three-dimensional again, 3D kind of players.
Yeah,
They can give them ball at least 2 overs in a game. Like Shivam Dubey was an example for it. This option. And like they try to manage the batting depth till the end and also the bowling options in a game because MS Dhoni does.
agreed. And if we move into the bowlers that can bat, this is just how Chennai Super Kings is. You can put Dwayne Bravo in either category right now. We took him in the batsman who can bowl. You can take him in the bowlers who can bat. But if you move forward from, we have one, two, three, four, five. We've done till six down, so we have three, four more slots to fill for this team. What are the players that you take in? There's of course Deepak Chahar.
It was a 14 crore thing.
Yeah,
And then it should be K Massive
Hema
because
Singh.
he's been debuted already in 2019 itself for CSK. So it should be K Massive. Then the next one it should be Chris Jordan or Adam Mill. Someone.
Okay.
Because
Um,
if it is in the Mumbai, then we don't need a spinner, extra spinner like
of
Mahesh
course.
Deekshana or someone.
And Ravindra Jadeja and Moeen Ali are good enough spinners. I mean,
Uh,
they can give you
yeah.
8 overs any day. So that's a playing 11 that has been formed by Nithin for us. Nithin, now if we dissect this team a little more, you think about Deepak Char in there. You mentioned the aspect of him being bought for 14 CR. What did you expect? Did you see him going for that much? And do you support CSK's decision to go for him all the way?
Okay, at the start of the set, the bowler set, there are Josh Hazelwood, Deepak Chahar, and Sharman Thakur. The three were there. I was hoping at least one will be back to CSK. And the first play was Deepak Chahar. So CSK went fully for him, and they
Hmm.
got him back. At the kind of 12 crores, I was a bit, it's too much for him, but this guy has been, I said, since 2018, his bowling skills in the power play has been like, the only utilization the best of all the captains I've seen. So I hope he does well in the death bowling alone. In the recent West Indies series also he has struggled a bit, but fine. Hope he gets back there. But he deserved 14 crore.
Of course, and Deepak Chahar, one more thing that he's proved over the last few matches
The
is his
batting.
batting prowess. 250s, one in a winning cause, one almost in a winning cause.
Almost.
So, Deepak Chahar, the batsman, is also an added advantage, which probably would have added to teams bidding for him more and would have added to teams actually putting that much more there. Um, there's a question that we've had that we have. Do you think CSK lacks death bowling? Um, if we look at our team again, there's Dwayne Bravo and Deepak Chahar, who is not really a death bowler. There's Dwayne Bravo, who is a designated death bowler, probably an Adam Milne. What do you think about death bowling?
It's been a problem for CSK in the 2020s. In 2021, it was better comparing to the Hazard gave us some overs. I don't know how Adam will be, but I've seen him in the 100. I followed him in the 100. He was bowling brilliantly. And MI also, he was there. I
Yeah.
hope let him be the death bowler, or it might be Chris Jordan. They might
Yeah,
trust him in this.
Jordan is one player you could play instead of Adam Milne. Hasn't had a lot of achievements in the IPL, but he is end of the day a death bowler for somebody like an England. So
Uh,
that does give you an added advantage. If we again dissecting the squad further, um, some of these players we might not have expected to go for that much. Like we talked about Deepak Chahar. Next player in point I have to bring out is Ambati Raidu. Honestly, I personally expected him to go for about 3.5 CR, considering not having a lot of years ahead of him. But again, CSK management decided to back him, go all the way, and get him for whatever amount there was. Um, do you support that decision this time?
yeah, of course I do because a player who can open your innings, a player who can bat at number three, a player who can bat at number four and number five, and he's been so underrated for CSK the last 2 years. His performance has been underrated, and we can see that in the two games we see, like in the last year also against Delhi Capitals, was so good. So I'm fine with it. The price was deserved. Maybe more than that would have been like too much, but it's
True.
fine.
Yeah, they almost went 7 CR for him, but for someone who has done so well for you over the years, there isn't a real price tag you can put, I guess. Shikhar says Devon could Devon be that much destructive like Faf? This is actually something we discussed, and even though we feel Faf is a different level and Devon might take some time getting there, but at this point he's the best replacement. And Devin Conway and Ruturaj Gaikwad could again form a formidable partnership, but that's something that we will have to wait and watch. Next thing, Nitin, I wanted to take you to is the reserve players with Chennai. We, of course, here up again on the screen, here's a list of the playing 11 that we formed. In case of injuries, in case of lack of forms, who are your first go-to players? Two big names that you said we didn't include. There's no Robin Uthappa in here yet, and there's no Chris Jordan in here. So those are immediate replacements if needed. Other than that, the players in Chennai that you want to look forward to.
Mm, Uh, it should be the local boys, I would say, like Jagadish and Harinishant. They have been Jagadish has been like for 4 years in the team for the CSK. and I hope he gets a chance in the opening slot, at least when we qualify the early stages, because he's been sitting so long in the team. And in the bowling department, it should be Prashant Solanki, I guess, because he got like around for 1.5 crores, I guess.
Yeah,
So he's been a head bowler for CSK in the last year. So although a wrist spinner, we have only wrist spinner in the team is that's Prashant.
yeah.
So it should be in the two players should be these two guys.
Definitely. So those are two players we learn our look to. We should look forward to. N. Jagadishan and Prashant Solanki was bought for 1.2 cr. SKB brings up the point of Raina and shows his heartbreak here. We did talk about it right at the start of our life. The first thing we discussed was Raina missing in CSK, but that's just how it is now, and we've decided to hope that he comes back in the IPL in the next season, if not for CSK, at least for some team.
Okay.
One very good point being brought up is Rajvardhan Hangarekar, a very good under 19 talent who has been in the news for a lot of reasons. Age factor was also there; he's been in the news for that too. But none of that takes away from the talent that he has. And do you see Rajvardhan making a place
Uh,
in this CSK squad?
of course, he'll be getting a chances, but he won't be starting again because he's not an experienced campaigner. But K Masif has been experienced a bit in IPL.
Yeah.
So maybe CSK will be trusting K Masif more than Rajvardhan, maybe. But he'll be getting chances for sure in the league.
Definitely, and that's the thing. Rajvardhan Hangarekar is also a player who fits the CSK dynamic perfectly. He can bowl, he can bat, and he can do both of them
Yeah.
very efficiently, very well. Another player who would fit very well into this CSK team. A couple of more players I feel CSK has in the reserves is Mitchell Santner if they ever need to add in an extra spinner, and they have Dwayne Pretocious from South Africa,
South Africa.
who's a brilliant death bowler who could also take the place of somebody like a Chris Jordan or Adam Milne in case they're not firing in the death bowling department. So that's a lot about the Chennai Super Kings team. Go on if you were about to say something, please.
Okay. Okay. If Dwayne Bravo is going to be rested a bit, Pretorius will be a good replacement for him, for sure.
Exactly,
Because,
exactly. So, Nithin, now we move from CSK discussions to the IPL discussion for a while. Of course, as a fan, you usually look forward to your team performances and understand how things are going. But one thing we often do is we compare. We see how teams stack up against each other, and we love doing that. And that's what I'll put you up on. If you had to think about, forget that there's an IPL to come and we actually have to play these matches. If you just think about how the teams stack up right now, your best four squads after this IPL auction.
okay, first should be Chennai Super Kings with running out, and
Okay,
next it should be Lucknow Super Giants. They have been like
that's two names.
superb.
Yeah,
And next, I don't feel MI, but they'll be utilizing them perfectly. But as of now, they are
yeah,
like
I
the old
agree.
squad and the new squad is a bit lacking. So I won't say them. Maybe Royal Challengers Bangalore can be a good team, and Sunrisers Hyderabad. These four teams will be like the top.
So these are the four top teams from Nitin, and you think about these teams, they've formed their squads very well. What was the third one again? There was Lucknow, Chennai, Hyderabad, and
Royal Challengers Bangalore.
Royal Challengers Bangalore. And we have an RCB fan putting up a comment. RCB's priority in day one was getting Hasaranga. Lol, this team sucks. RCB
Because
fans would have been surprised. Bharat was actually
I
on
was
YouTube live with me or when the auction was going on. I'm a Punjab Kings fan, and it was Punjab and RCB bidding for Hasaranga. And both of us wanted the other team to get him because at one point the amount of money they were spending seemed like too much.
actually RCB. I thought they will be going for Chahal.
Yeah, yeah, they
It was
should have gone for
surprising.
Chelsea. And look at the surprise. An RCB fan is surprised that you put RCB in the top four because
It should
because of
be.
some of the decisions that they made. Like you said, they decided to let go of Chehel. Again, they decided to let go of somebody like uh, who was their death bowler with Harshal
Uh,
Patel.
they bought them back, I guess.
They have Siraj, Harshal, and one more
Siraj,
player,
Harshal
right?
Patel, Hasselwood, Behan Rock, Josh.
Yeah, Josh Hazelwood. They bought back. They got Josh Hazelwood. That's a
Yeah,
good decision from CSK. He did really well for them.
yeah.
But again, tilting back to CSK for the next few minutes. If you had to rate this team, out of 10, your combine everything that you have in your head, your auction performance, your love as a fan, your team, how it will fare up. What do you feel about CSK out of 10?
Um, Maybe 9 out of 10. Why is
9 out of 10. That's a great rating for your squad. Um,
the
Question from Shikhar again. Do you feel Deepak Chahar is overpriced and they should have gone more for Faf? Don't know why they went for Tewatia till 9 crore. Um, that's true actually. What's your take on that first?
yeah, Devatia, same. I was surprised a bit for going for 9 crores, but they didn't
Yeah,
have good options. I guess they tried Shah Rukh Khan, they didn't get. They tried Devatia, and also they tried Vijay Shankar, they didn't get. So maybe they went for Devatia, but last they got Shivam Dubey again. So
yeah.
fine, and Deepak Chahar, yeah, a bit overpriced, but fine. He deserves
Yeah,
a new
Deepak
challenge.
Chahar is your proven performer, and I think before the auction itself, it was crystal clear to all fans also that it's near impossible to buy back both
Like
Chahar and
all,
Shardul. So one of them you will have to prioritize, and you could have, and they must have had to go all the way for one of them. If Chennai went ahead with Shardul, I'm sure another team would have bid for him again, and then Shardul would have gone for that price, about 13, 14 CR, and Deepak would have been sold for about 11 to some other team. But one of these players they had to go after, and it was their call to go after Deepak Chahar.
Deepak Chahar.
One thing that Shikhar brings up is Chennai's requirement to buy a finisher at an extra cost. Like you said, they went for Shah Rukh Khan till almost 9 CR.
Yeah.
They went for Rahul Tewatia till 9 CR. And that brings up a very good point from SKV. He says, lot of finisher Dhoni. If finisher Dhoni is back in full form, they don't need Tewatia, they don't need Shah Rukh Khan, they have MSD.
But maybe they want for Shah Rukh as a future thing, like next 2 years. We don't know whether Dhoni will be playing or not.
Yeah.
So Shah Rukh Khan can fill not a perfect place of Dhoni, but a bit youngster
Exactly,
can perform.
exactly.
That's
That's
okay.
actually a very good point. That's a vision into the future. And
Future.
you bring us to a very important point again. MS Dhoni, it has been going on for a few years. There was definitely not in 2 seasons before where he said he'll play another season. Last season, he gave all of this what should I say, all of this talk about CSK and
Yeah.
Chennai and all the logical decisions they need to make. And then in the end, he says, my legacy hasn't ended yet, and he's back with CSK. How many years do you think Dhoni has with CSK? Is it this year? Is it another year? And your
Uh,
future captain once Dhoni isn't with the team?
I just hope he plays his farewell in Jaipur. I
Ah,
just hope.
yes.
I just hope. I guess this season it will be in Mumbai totally.
Yeah.
But till he gets a farewell in Chennai, he should be playing. That's what I hope.
Yeah. And if the
Because
fans are allowed in that stadium, just imagine the atmosphere it
imagine
will
that.
have.
I don't see him as a important batter in the team, to be honest. As a captain, a good wicket keeper, and a mentor for the youngsters in the team. And he won us the IPL in 2021. It's a great example for him. So
That
Dhoni as a
actually
batsman
makes a
is
lot
more
of sense.
valuable than the Dhoni as a batsman.
Yeah, that actually makes a lot of sense. And again, Bharat says that CSK has the best top seven in the league. I, for one, absolutely agree with this. Again, if we look at the squad that we had created, the top seven has destructive batsmen. It has anchors. Ruturaj Gaikwad can play the entire innings, as we've seen. Devon Conway can play an aggressive role. So can Moeen Ali. Ambati Raidu can play absolutely according to the situation. We've seen him do both roles. Then there's Shivam Dubey who could go all out. Then there's a Ravindra Jadeja who could come in and fire, who could come in and finish innings. Then there's also Dwayne Bravo. And then you could float it up around. You can actually even bat a Deepak Chahar at number 7 and expect him to go all guns
Yeah.
blazing. So,
Actually,
yeah,
teams like RCB and Delhi Capitals are missing finishers, and CSK has
exactly.
all kind of finishers in their team. That's the
Exactly.
difference between the teams of like RCB and Delhi Capitals and the team like CSK. I would
I
say.
absolutely agree. And Delhi, I feel, deviating a little from the topic though, but Delhi, I feel, had that luxury last year in Shimron Hetmeyer that
Yeah,
they don't have this year. This year they have Robman Powell, who we saw what he did to India in the previous match, but how consistent is he, that we don't know as of now. Most West Indian batsmen are explosive. Most West Indian batsmen can destroy oppositions on their day, but end of the day, it comes down to consistency. So we'll have to see. And actually, it's a good time to switch to the match for today. Also, I feel there's a comment here from SKV who says, "Will Ruturaj play today?" And that brings me to
I think
today's
it's
match.
raining
We have
over
just
there.
3 minutes for the toss. Your quick call. Will
Yeah, I think
Ruturaj
it's
make?
raining over there.
Sorry,
I think it's raining over there in Kolkata.
it's raining. Oh,
I saw a
that
post
I
from
didn't know.
BCCI.
Okay, okay. I didn't know that, but again, still your prediction. We can check on it later. Will Rutu make his place for Ishan Kishan today?
Yeah, it should be Ruturaj and Ishan Kishan at number three will be perfect.
Ishan
So
Kishan at
Ruturaj,
number three. Also, one news from the match that we see is that Avesh Khan has received his maiden T20 cap. So Avesh
yeah.
Khan will be making his debut today for India. That's
So
also good news for the Indian team.
Deepak Chahar will be missing the game.
Probably, yeah, Deepak Chahar could be rested, or maybe even they could be resting Bhuvaneshwar Kumar with the series not on the line anymore. That's for us to see. But seems like the rain has also stopped. Let's see if we have the toss in a couple of minutes. But even if we don't, prediction from Nithin is that yes, Rutu will play today, and I honestly hope to. Ujjwal भैया nice t-shirt. Yes, Ujjwal भैया ये कर रहे हैं कि हर color team color के साथ I'm trying to match t-shirts. So today is CSK, today is yellow. Which team has a better logo, Gujarat Titans or Lucknow Super Giants? I don't remember Gujarat Titans having a logo yet, do they?
They launched this now, half an
Oh,
hour
they
back.
launched it. I'll
Yeah,
just check it out.
it's better than
Lucknow Super
LSG for
Giants
sure.
logo I didn't like very much.
It's better than LSG for sure.
Yeah, I feel Gujarat Titans has a better logo.
That,
Seems like they've at least put some work into it. They had things to think about. Lucknow, I was surprised. They had a similar team name, then they didn't
actually, they
change
have
much
got
in
a
the
good
name
team in
itself.
Lucknow, but their logos and a bit.
Right. So, quickly coming back to CSK before we touch the 30-minute mark,
Yeah.
talk about if you have to talk about the surprise picks and the value picks for Chennai Super Kings. Firstly, the players you feel Chennai bought that they probably shouldn't have gone after, some of these surprise picks for you, if there are any.
I would say actually they didn't go for a big price maybe because
Yeah.
they stopped. It was only Deepak Chahar who crossed 14 crore mark I guess, and it was
Yeah.
Raidu for 7 crore below 7 crores, and they all deserved it. I don't think like maybe Chris Jordan for 3 crores, maybe a call. That's it because we don't know how
True.
he's performing. He's been poor in PSL. Hope he comes good in IPL.
True. So Chennai don't have a lot of. If you, I agree. If you look at some team like SKV just talked about Gujarat Titans, they bought Abhinav Manohar for 2.8 CR. They bought Yash Dayal for 3.2 CR. These are players we have to check who they are and we have to
And so
see their
RCB.
background, see their records. Chennai don't have any such player who they surprisingly went too much for.
Yeah.
But I'll take you to the opposite extreme of this. If you have to think about value picks, one value pick Chennai had last year, I think Chennai had Ruturaj Gaikwad for 20 lakhs, and he was the orange cap. So that was the value
Actually,
pick of
6 crores for a steal, I would say,
yeah,
retained.
that was the value pick of the season for me. Probably the value pick of all of IPL for me. So any such player you feel Chennai has picked at at a value price and could go on to make a name for himself?
Um, Rutraj actually is one. He was retained. If he was in the auction, he would have gone for at least 8 to 9 crores or ten
Of
crores.
course.
But they retained him for 6 crores. It was a steal actually. And also Shivam Dubey. Many won't find him like perform in the last 2 years, but he was so good in the RCB campaign, and hope he does well for CSK. 4 crores was fine for him.
Absolutely. And one more value pick I feel is a player we talked about, Dwayne Pretocius from South Africa. They
Yeah,
got him just for 50 lakhs. He
15
could
lakhs.
bat and he could be their death bowler as well. So there's a lot to look about it. Another very good player brought up by Shikhar is Hari Nishant, is a very good
I
domestic player.
excited.
Yeah.
Actually, both are Jagadisan and Harishan are from my district. And I've
And yeah.
been following him from like, like
Okay.
I have
So
played, I have played in their academy, so I know.
oh, okay. So we have somebody from their academy, and we have somebody who realizes how good value picks they are. One very good question from SKV that we just discussed is that will Dhoni retire? So Nithin just said that Dhoni will have his farewell match from Chepauk with the fans there, and that's what we all look forward to. since it's Mumbai and Pune this time, we are hoping he doesn't retire, but I'm not sure how it'll be. One final question we'll take up from the comments before we hit the 30-minute mark. If CSK had gone for Steve Smith, would it be a good pick instead of Devin Conway?
Steve Smith, I don't think he's a good T20 player. Personally, I feel. Even
Hmm.
in the DC campaign, we saw him performing. It was not so good. He was good in RPS when he was, but after that, he was down a bit. He's a good test player, but I don't think him playing him in a T20 squad for sure.
True, and even if he is in a T20 squad, I feel he is your anchor batsman, somebody
Yeah,
around
you
whom
already
the
have Mutlas Gaikwad,
bat.
you have Ankur.
Yeah, so he's not an ideal partner for Ruturaj Gaikwad because kind of they'll have the same batting style right in the beginning. Moving forward, I feel news from the middle is that West Indies have won the toss. They've opted to field. We'll quickly have an update on the squad and we'll see if Ruturaj Gaikwad is playing or not. That's one
He
thing
should
that
be
also
playing 3 series out of the 11 4. So he should
yeah,
be
he
playing.
should be. But one final thing I'll take you up on is your prediction for Chennai Super Kings. Where would they stand on the points table at the end of this IPL? Do they defend their title? Do you see them going to the playoffs? Whatever your prediction is.
As a CSK fan, they should defend a fight at that title.
As a
And
CSK fan, they should defend their title. As an
they
analyst who just has a look at the squads, then what would you say?
they will defend the title again. I'm saying we have a captain call, and they'll finish in the top two of the league stage.
They'll finish in the top two. So that's another final you are predicting for Chennai Super Kings this time. We'll have to look forward to that. That's not a prediction we can immediately check. There's
Yeah,
a
yeah,
few months
yeah.
before we
But
could know.
it's a prediction.
Yeah, definitely. And still, we have a couple of minutes for the squad to come up. I'll let this finish as soon as we have the squad. We'll see if Rutu is playing or not, and we'll end on that note. Um, any concluding remarks for you about how CSK has formed this team, and finally, where do you see the strengths and weaknesses of this team?
Strength is again the finishing part. I would say the biggest strength for CSK and also the all-rounders part, biggest strength. And the weakness, I would say the Indian spinners, or at least I was expecting for Adam Zampa to be in the squad for a replacement for Imran Tahir, but it was not picked. But fine. Also, the Indian paces. We have some young paces like Simranjeet, then came out with Tushar Deshpande, but still they are inexperienced, I would say.
True, and
Needs a
like you
needs a
said, somebody like a Prashant Solanki is new.
new
However, the fact of the matter is that he doesn't come with that much experience, as much talent he might come with. And to like you said, Adam Zampa, another spinner I was surprised went unsold is Tabrez Shamsi.
yeah, number one T20 bowler.
Number one T20 bowler. Actually there were a lot of spinners, like you said, Imran Tahir, Tabrez Shamsi, Adam Zampa.
Yeah, this
All of
auction was
these
totally
guys
based on paces.
And we have news from the middle as well. Ruturaj will open the batting with Ishan Kishan. That's the good news for all of you Chennai fans. That's the prediction made by Nithin that has come true. Rohit Sharma will step down the order and let Ishan and Ruturaj open the innings as he says at the toss. And here are the live updates from SKV before we get them. Ruturaj Gaikwad, Shreyas Iyer, Shardul Thakur, and Avesh Khan are the guys who will be playing today. Um, Final prediction today: clean sweep for India 3-0 or 2-1 to West India, 2-1 to India.
Yes, it's a win for India, but I guess they should West Indies should give some tough fight, like what they did in the second T20. Then the match
True.
becomes interesting.
So it's a tough fight and it's a clean sweep for India.
Yeah.
One-on-one prediction has come correct for Nithin today. We'll check the second one at the end of the match, and we'll be back tomorrow with another team for all of you. Thank you so much for joining us, Nithin. It's been great to have you. There's a lot that we had to discuss today, and covering Chennai Super Kings. One final look at the playing 11 that we formed. Covering Chennai Super Kings was always going to be a task because it comes with a lot of expectations and love from the fans, and I'm happy that we had you speak for an entire CSK fan army of 70,000 people. You spoke for them, and I feel most people here are happy with the calls that you made. Any concluding remarks from you before we end the show?
First of all, thank you for having me. It's been a
Of
pleasure
course,
to
my
be
friend.
here. And it's my first thing, like a live session. with like a analyst, and it was a good session actually. The questions, actually Shikhar Tiwari is my friend actually. So
Shikhar Tiwari. Oh, I didn't know that.
yeah, he's my friend. So he's commenting a lot. So it's a great thing, and hope we'll do more in the future.
That's great. That's great. Hope to see you soon. We'll have a lot of content coming up for you because the IPL is coming ahead. There's a lot of matches of India coming ahead, and I hope Nithin joins us more for all of this CSK content and bees with us. Thank you so much again, Nithin. I'll close the show, but I really appreciate you being here.
Thank you.